Welcome to the Boxing Life Podcast, where we talk about everything from boxing to business.
Fighting Manny Pacquiao is an experience. It's not a fight.
Mindset to money.
I think any business, you have to make it someone's third place.
Speaking to some of the world's most interesting people.
So that would be considered an example of a biohack, where like I'm hacking my biology.
From Sunderland, England, now living in Los Angeles, California.
You put him in the ring with me in his day, and I'm talking his best day, and I'm 50 right now. I will knock him out.
Here's your host, 2008 Olympic medalist and former undefeated professional boxer, Tony Jeffries.
What a fight. What a fight. Heavyweight. One of the best heavyweight fights I've seen in a very long time. You know, these heavyweight fights are very entertaining because we know that anything can happen at any time with one punch. And this was a better fight than I thought it was going to be. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea kind of what to expect. I thought if it went the distance, it'd be Fury, but I did think Wilder would stop him. But I was pleasantly surprised. It was a really amazing fight. Super happy with it.
Yeah, Jack, what do you think, mate? Did you enjoy it?
I thought it was a good fight. I couldn't believe he came back after having a long time off and just got back into that fight like that quick.
I know, like having 2 years off, like ring rust is a real thing, but he did come back, and he fought. He's had 2 fights since he's come back, and the guys, even though like one was a blown-up cruiserweight, they both had good records. I mean, the first one had 23 with only 1 loss, and then the next one had 40 fights with 4 losses. So they were pretty decent opponents, and he went in there, stopped one on points, and then he's getting in with Deontay Wilder, the most feared man in boxing, I'd say. Well, definitely in the heavyweight division, having 40 fights, knocked out everyone he's fought. But yeah, what a fight, great fight. So the fight was here in Los Angeles, and I was actually leaving Kev's house yesterday after we had a meeting, and I was driving home, and Paul King called us, and he says, we're going to the fight, we're going to downtown. I never had any tickets. Do you want to come? So I was like, sound. So I got an Uber, met up with Paul, Glenn, there's a few other English people there, and I know you've been to events like this before, but like all the ticket touts outside, right? And I've never seen that before. And there was like tons of them. Come on, want to buy tickets? And I was like, I do want to buy tickets, but I just don't know if I could trust these men who look half homeless, who's selling tickets for this fight. Anyway, we end up buying some tickets off a guy who was about 6'3", proper skinny, who looked a bit like Jack. No, he was about 55 years old, and he had no teeth in his mouth. And he's like, "Yeah, you want to buy these tickets?" And it was like, "How much?" And they were $2.50 a piece. And I would never have bought them. But what he said was, right? He said, "You don't have to pay us until you're out inside." So Paul, who already had a ticket, he could give him the money. Anyway, we went in and we got these tickets, $2.50 each. First time I've ever paid for a ticket for a boxing match, I think, in my life. And it was a shit seat, the worst seat I've ever had in my life as well.
Yeah, the one time I've ever bought tickets from a scalper like that, I made him walk with me to the door.
Right.
I gave him the money once the ticket scanned.
Yeah,
like,
so that's where they do it.
Yeah. That's the thing, you just pay for his dental plan now.
So I was thinking, I want to see this one, please spend it on your teeth, mate. But I've got a feeling like the way that works, and we're going to talk about the boxing in a minute, but the way that works is there's other people around there with the tickets who buy a load of tickets early, and then I'm sure he must have been homeless. They help go around selling to other people, and then, you know, because he was asking them for the tickets.
Yeah, they'll buy and sell too. They buy them and then they try to upsell them for more as well. It's just depending, like last minute people, anybody will pay whatever to get there.
So we had these seats, and then we were sitting there, and then Joe Carnahan, he's been on the podcast before, he's a movie director. He was texting us saying, "Do you want to come and get a drink?" So I said, "Where are you?" He said, "Well, we've got a box inside the Staples Centre." So went in his box, which was right next to us, and with Joe Carnahan, Frank Grillo, and Rampage Jackson. He was there. It was great to meet him. And but even then, in a box at this event in the Staples Centre, I'm still miles away. Like you are. This is supposed to be the premium box, and it's like, it's supposed to be good, but it's shit, really.
Yeah, you're there. I mean, you're there for the environment, really. Unless you're there on the floor, you were watching the Jumbotron all the time. So.
And don't think I wouldn't recommend watching a fight from that far away, because this morning, the next day, me wife's mum, who doesn't know nothing about boxing, she went, "Oh, did you watch the fight? That was the fight." I went, "Oh, sound." She went, "Did you see Tyson sticking his tongue out and he was pulling all his faces?" And I was like, "Oh no, I didn't see that."
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. But in Wilder, I was actually really impressed with Wilder, and he didn't bite on that stuff. You know, he kind of did it back to him a little bit, and you know, Wilder seems like the kind of guy to me that would he might be easy to get into his head, but he didn't bite on that stuff at all.
He looked
really
calm.
impressive. Yeah,
more than anything, he was calm. I mean, if you get frustrated over that stuff, that's when you start to make the biggest mistake.
Exactly.
Because you get caught.
Read's experience. But yeah, and another thing though is I don't think that. What was I going to say there? Oh, so another thing with the fight, like with Wilder, I think the way Fury was boxing, the way his style is, and he's very hard to hit, it makes you think twice about throwing the punches, because like, if I throw this punch, I'm going to miss, he's going to make me counter. So I think Fury did that great, just like he did with a Klitschko, but I think he'd done even better than the Klitschko, especially for being out for so long, coming back and then performing the way he performed. It was amazing. Yeah. I put on my Instagram this morning who thought Wilder won or Fury won, and it was like 75% of the people thought that Fury won. And I'm like, who the hell are these 25% people who didn't? Because I can't see, yes, he knocked them down twice, yes, he's the champion in America, but I can't see how anyone could have had him winning.
Yeah, if you don't score, if you look at it and say, okay, he knocked him down twice, and you don't actually base the fight on how you should judge a fight, right? Where you score 10-9, 10-9. You say, oh, well, he knocked him down twice. Someone that looks at it in that perspective may say, oh, well, he won because he knocked him down twice. But that's not how you score the fight. So
I was like sitting with a bunch of like people who like never put a pair of gloves on,
right?
Ever, and they're like he lost that fight. I'm like, what are you watching? He's like
I thought Fury lost.
He knocked him down. Like twice, I was like, twice. He got up twice, and he's boxed him.
Well, all Americans as well.
Yeah. I'm like, you can't judge a fight off getting knocked down when he's won the rest of the rounds.
Right.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, I can definitely see someone who's uneducated and doesn't understand necessarily how you score a fight. You know, they don't understand the point system, and they say, oh, well, he just knocked him down twice. Of course he won, but that's not how it's scored. That's not how you actually judge it. So. In my mind, I gave Wilder 3 rounds, round 2, and then the 2 knockdown rounds.
Yeah, I think it was crazy that one judge, did they give
115, 111 for Wilder?
Yeah, and did they give Wilder like the first 5 rounds or something stupid, like 4 or 5 rounds?
It had to have. I don't know what other rounds.
And I was like, wow, how can you do that? So if that judge give Fury one of them rounds, he would have won the fight. Just one of them rounds. So it's bad, and it is a bad look for boxing, and you can see how it loses people. Boxing loses fans through this sort of thing. What I think what should happen, right, when a bad decision is like this, I think they should get all of the top judges in boxing, and the person who wants to protest, is that the right word? The claim on the result needs to pay all of them judges like $1,000 each, right? So they pay them all $1,000 each. Let's say there's 5 of them. Get them in a room with that judge that did that bad scoring, and then figure it out with them, and then turn the score around. If all 5 of them just disagree on that one round to that one judge, I think they should change the result of the fight.
That's a good. It's not a bad idea. The only problem with that is they're going to be influenced because it's not live. It's not happening, and the judging's not happening as the fight's happening. They will have already been influenced from media and from other people talking. Yeah. So I mean, they need to figure out some way to protest that stuff.
That's true, but if you really look at it and break it down every 30 seconds of the round, and they've got different camera angles and obviously no commentating on there, is that a weird there where it's like every 30 seconds, all right, so he won that section, and then the 30 seconds, whoever, I think that's one way of really figuring out.
I think half the judges don't even watch the fight anyway. I think just write it down.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask you, Kev, is why has Wilder not got the huge following and support in America?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good question. I was not. I want to be careful how I say this. I was not a huge fan of his prior to him coming to the gym. When he came to the gym, he was hanging around. He kind of won me over a little bit. He seemed like a really nice, genuine guy. And I'm always one to say you can't judge someone based on how they act when the camera's around.
Yeah,
you know them, experience them one-on-one, similar to like McGregor. He acts like a fucking clown on camera, but when he was here, he's super genuine, nice, thankful, authentic. And I was like, this guy's great. I love this guy. So, maybe that's part of it. Maybe some people just don't like his antics.
Yeah.
And the way he portrays himself and carries himself, saying things like, "Oh, I want to kill a man in a ring." That's the kind of stuff
horrible.
for me.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I can't pull for this guy. But then when I met him, and you had more interaction with him, but I was able to kind of sit back and watch. But like, he seemed like a good, genuine guy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it. He's from a place that is not known for, Alabama is not known for boxing. It's all football there, and he doesn't, I assume people in Alabama know him, but like it doesn't come from a big town that's known for boxing.
Yeah. I think that might be another thing, in America, because in the UK, I think the two major sports is football, soccer, and boxing.
Yeah.
But where in America you've got the basketball,
Everything,
baseball, the American football. Boxing's just a little part of that. So I think it's like 5th or 6th down the list, and the public are not really behind boxing in general.
Yeah, I think before, when you had guys like Holyfield, Tyson, Ali, Frazier, all these American heavyweights, I wasn't around then, but just from listening to people talk, it seems like there's a lot more hype around boxing, American boxing specifically, during those times than there is now. Now you've got a guy like Wilder, who is an American and is at the top of the heavyweight boxing. And so maybe that'll come back a little bit. But, Americans, it seems like, you got guys like Floyd Mayweather, what other people just aren't fans of the American boxers because of their antics a little bit, I think.
That's why I think it's weird, though, because even though boxing isn't, like, massive over here, when there is someone at Wilder's level, I think everyone should get behind them.
Yeah.
On that thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Fury's just said there in his interview this morning after the fight, like he's telling all Americans, you should need to get behind this guy because what he's done is amazing. Won an Olympic bronze medal for the country, and then undefeated heavyweight world champion, and he hasn't got the support that he deserves.
Yeah.
And he picked up a pair of gloves when he was 18 as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
He was a football guy. And
did that fast as well.
Right.
Yeah, he
came up quick.
10 years. Within 10 years, I think he was a heavyweight champ of starting. But,
wow.
But I think also in America, because there are all these other sports, and in England, I know we've talked about it, the amateur boxing there is so huge, and people are a lot more educated about boxing there just because they grew, not many people there didn't grow up going to a boxing gym at some point in their lives. Here, there's not many boxing gyms, and people are pretty uneducated to that.
Yeah, maybe that's got something to do with it as well. Like where in the Olympics, that's where you win the public's heart, I think, because in boxing, because they see these young fighters coming up and they build this emotional relationship with them. But America hasn't got a good amateur boxing program or a good team, so it's hard to win the hearts. Seeing that Wilder was the one that did get the medal, but like in Britain now, we're getting like 4 or 5 medalists in one Olympics, so the public knows who they all are. They're getting more publicity, the limelight's on them, people's more behind them. Over here, people's not that interested in boxing in the Olympics because America's not in it really.
Yeah, America, it's basketball, it's American football, and it's baseball. Those are the American sports, and it's surprising because there are a lot of great American boxers. A lot of people who are, world champs that are Americans, but you don't know about them until they get to that point.
Yeah, like as well, the world champs. You're talking about Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. Like until like 2 months ago, if Terence Crawford walked past me, I wouldn't know who he was. Yeah. And look at what he's done. Look how good he is.
Exactly. And he's in everyone's top 3
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
pound for pound.
But it's weird. But look, then you've got Canelo, who I'd say is at the same level as Terence Crawford, because he's Mexican and he's getting all the Mexican supporters behind him. Now he's a household name.
Yeah.
Right?
Mexicans massive in boxing, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They love it. So I think that's the big thing with America, like why they've got that many sports and they've got that many stars in different sports.
And two, all the big fights are in America. They're in Vegas. They're in LA. They're in New York. You know, all the big world title fights. They're here.
Yeah, it was great. Even though I couldn't see the fight, it was great. It was great to be there in the atmosphere with the crowds or cheering. And Fury had more fans there than Wilder, which was again crazy.
Yeah.
Undefeated heavyweight world champ, and he's someone all the way from Britain. So what they're talking about now is obviously the rematch. Well, I'm seeing they're talking about it. They didn't seem to really want to talk about the rematch.
No.
Which, you know, I mean, it's hit and miss that with fighters. Some fighters jump on the street, I want the rematch. And some fighters are like, no, I want to go home. I just want to relax now.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it, but it's not something that I'm dying. I mean, they both want Joshua. That's what they want. They want Joshua.
Joshua
you know?
doesn't want them, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He doesn't think he needs them, though, really.
What really surprised me about the fight, and I think this maybe is a bit of the reason, or the reason is because Wilder is still somewhat new to boxing. I mean, he's relying so much on his athleticism, and he kept saying he was rushing his punch, I was like, you didn't rush enough. Why didn't you let his hands go?
Yeah.
He wasn't getting hurt. He wasn't like, you kind of knew. I mean, Fury was stepping in hard on some of those 1-2s, but like he wasn't gonna hurt Wilder, and Wilder wouldn't let his hands go. Yeah. And you know, especially in those later rounds, he was getting tired. I guess, you know, and he couldn't finish him in the 12th. But like, I was just wondering, like, why are you not throwing punches?
I think it's come down to the Fury style, where it makes you feel like he's going to get countered as soon as you throw.
Yeah.
But when Wilder did throw the punches, that's when he done the damage.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I was saying in those last few rounds. It's like, what do you have to lose? Yeah. Like, I don't know. His corner was telling him he was up. I don't know how they could.
Wilder's
think
corner
that.
was.
Yeah,
all the way.
The last, I think, going into the 12th, they said you're up. There's like, you're winning this fight, but like,
crazy.
Yeah, but you know, I think that maybe hurt him a little bit. I think his corner should have told him, like, look, you're losing this fight on points. You need to let your hands go.
The only thing I think sometimes with that, I think they do it just in case, like the decision. If they told him you're losing this fight and now there was a draw, now after the press and everyone's going to see it, even your corner thought you lost the fight.
Yeah, that's
you know, so I think,
wrong,
I think that's what they do that for. But again, you should whisper in his ear at least. You know, cover your mic and say, "Come on, you need to step your game up. Or you're going to lose this title." But that knockdown, I mean, the two knockdowns were heavy, but that knockdown, he looked like he was knocked out, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's finished."
Oh man,
he hit him on the way down as well. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, that hook, like we were saying, that the hook as he was going down, I think, did more damage, but that was so exciting to me because I felt like in my heart, at least I wanted to will Fury to get up. I was pulling for him, and I was up on my couch jumping around. I was like, "Get up, get the fuck up!" And he got up, and I was like, "Yes, I knew it." And he came back so strong. It was.
I'm not gonna lie, like I saw him go down, and like the way he went and the way he's lying on the floor, I'm like, nah, just put my head in my hands. I'm like, nah, he's done. He's finished. And it's like the Undertaker. Sat up and I got up. I was like, get in. It was just like a relief. I was like, yes.
Get up.
So how he got up from that? I mean, he got up and then he just shows how smart he is, and he held on. And he said this in his interview this morning and he's right. When you're getting hurt and you're knocked down, if you stand straight back up, you'll be wobbly legged. Mm-hmm. You don't know, and I've been hurt before. You don't know how you're going to react from being hurt. So what he done, and with all his experience, he stopped down for a little bit longer, and then got up. I think he was out for at least 2 seconds before that, though. But like, which you need to do, which is really smart. Yeah. Then he got up and then he held on.
Do you think you're more dangerous when you dance like that, though?
No. I mean, it can go either
like
way.
Weird shot and catch them.
It can go either way, because once you're hurt like that, you only got to get caught with half the power on a shot and you're out.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, for him to get up from that, and and do what he done. You know, fair play to Jack Reese, the referee. That was some referee in that, because a lot of referees would just see him on the floor and wave their hands.
I was going to say, I was with a few people that were saying they could have justified stopping that fight. I was like, there's no way you can stop that fight. And yeah, I mean, 12th round, there's 2 minutes left, right, when he got knocked out. I know it's going to be a long 2 minutes, but you have to get everything he's been through, think of what's going through his head when he gets knocked down. Like, talk about the mental illness, the addiction, the recovering as a recovering addict, the drinking, all. He's laying there, that's going through his head. Like, look, I've been in worse places than this. I've been hurt worse than this. I mean, obviously from different things, but like, I can get up, I can do this, and and it was just a perfect ending. All the hype, everything, the story leading up to that fight, and his mental illness and the recovering addict stuff. It was the absolute best way for that fight to end.
So good. So he lost 10 stone, which is 140 pound in weight. Like, that's got to be. I mean, it's absolutely amazing for him to do that. But I'm thinking about the long-term damage that's done on his body. Especially when you're fighting at that level. I wonder how much that affects him. So I was on a podcast the other day with Omar Miller, who, do you know who he is? He's an actor. He was in 8 Mile and all that. And he said that he weighed like 420 pound at one time, and he dropped down. He lost like 100 pound, and he said when he dropped down, his coordination was off. Everything was off, like, 'cause he played football, I think, and that's what he was wondering about Fury. Is his coordination off? Is his timing off? Which makes sense, because it's like if you're running around carrying a 100-pound person on your back, and then they're not there, it's going to feel a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I really would love to see the rematch.
Sure.
And what Fury was saying was, if it's in America, he'll fight him in America. He'll fight him in England, and that's what I love about him.
Fight him in his backyard.
Yeah, that's what he said. I love it about him. He's a fighting man, and how fast that fight got made with him and Wilder when the AJ Wilder fight got put off. And I thought and like most people thought, like, this is too early for him. He should have had at least one more fight before he got in with Wilder, because he just had 2 fights. But he didn't, and he's just got big, massive balls, and he got in there.
It proves he's a fighting man as well, though. He gave his full purse to charity as well.
Did he?
But he won, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did he?
Yeah. Did he was saying?
I've never heard that. Like,
he said he's putting his purse to charity.
Really? Let me see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard not to be a fan of that guy.
I was like, really? Yeah. He also give his shoes like a homeless person in Hollywood and everything as well.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. So someone tweeted us. I put on Twitter, "Well done, Tyson Fury. You won that fight. You've done the whole Britain proud." And some knobhead texted us back saying, "Speak for yourself." I remember when he had them homophobic. I'm trying to find now. Some bullshit. See, I remember when he done this and he done that, and he said this about women. I was about to reply, but I just thought, no, I'm not getting into that. So you said Tyson Fury give his whole purse. Let's see.
I thought he was saying, he said it on an interview.
Tyson Fury to donate entire £8 million.
Yeah.
To fight. Bloody hell.
Mental.
Yeah. That's showing he's a bit mental. He's still.
At the same time, he's getting all the money from the pub.
From the what?
From like
pay-per-views.
The publicity, interviews. Everyone's going to be wanting his diet plan, everything now, and everything like that.
But that's not going to be $8 million. That is mad if he's done that. You know.
Yeah,
that is
mad.
I'll have to look into that more. So, I mean, moving forward now, what's going to happen? Is he going to fight Joshua? Does Joshua want that fight? Do you think that Joshua sees that and he's like, how does he feel?
Right after seeing that, I think it'd be too much for Josh for me. Joshua's like one-dimensional, isn't he? I think he just dance around him. Like,
you're a hater of Joshua, this guy.
I think Deontay, well, you say one-dimensional. I think that fight really shows how one-dimensional Wilder is.
Yeah.
You know, he's got no inside game, nothing at all. But this, and we were talking about this a minute ago, I think Joshua would stop them both. Because he's got that inside game, and he went. You know, Fury could wrap up and do kind of what he was doing with I think with Wilder a bit, but I think Joshua is a little stronger and could get away with.
I don't think if Joshua caught Fury, he's got the will to finish it as well, though. Like
I think he's got more because I think he's a more pure boxer than Wilder is, and that kind of showcased that Wilder in that fight. Wilder couldn't stop him when he knocked him down like that, and I think Joshua would be able to.
I think there's like pile of pressure on him, like there's like non-stop.
Yeah. I think Fury could outbox him. Like until last night, I would have said that Joshua would be too much for him. But now seeing that, I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how does Joshua feel now? Is he like, whoa, Fury did better than I thought? Or whoa, Wilder, I bet he thinks like Wilder's way more beatable now than he thought before. Sure. But I think he'd be more surprised with Fury. I mean, I feel like everyone was more surprised with Fury.
I mean, he definitely would. He should, I would think, psychologically gain more confidence against someone like Wilder, and maybe lost a little bit.
I'll say probably the best I've seen him box, to be honest. Yeah, in a long time.
So back to what I said about the Americans not being behind Wilder. Why did you see that you wanted Fury to win?
I think just his story. I was just pulling. I mean, it's like kind of the comeback story and the feel good. Like I think that's, and just listening to him talk and knowing where he came from and. Being a recovering addict and all of that, like it's hard not to get behind that. It's really not. And again, I did definitely gain more respect for Wilder when he came here. I do like the guy, and the way they both handled each other and themselves after the fight. I mean, you have to be a fan of both of them.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, I think it was just that feel good, that comeback story. I think with Fury. I mean, I wanted him so bad to get up in that 12th round, and I was so happy when he did.
The way he talks as well, he just makes you like believe every word.
Yeah. The thing is with him and the travelling community, they talk straight. Like if you listen to them in interviews, they speak the mind. They don't hold anything back, and they're just straight talking. And they see it how it is, how they see it. They never try to be politically correct. They just see it the way it is, and I think that's another big thing why we love him. Yeah, and he's got an accent. So, yeah, that's it for this podcast. It was just a quick one talking about the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight. Oh, before we wrap up as well, let's talk a little bit about the other Adonis Stevenson, because Adonis Stevenson got knocked out last night and he's now in critical condition in the hospital. He fought, go on Kev, pronounce it.
Vazdik, Alexander
Another Ukrainian who now is a light heavyweight champion. He's a former Olympian, I think, for Ukraine. And yeah, he's an absolute beast. It's funny these Ukrainians are really taking over now. But yeah, anyway, I really hope that that we can see Adonis Stevenson. I know he's a family man, can get better after this. That's it. Like every time a fighter gets in there, they're putting their life on the line. Yeah. Remember, we've done a podcast before with Glenn. And he said like there was a guy died. He was 25, died in the ring, and Glenn was like, "Well, at least he died doing something he loved." And I was like, "What? Yeah. No, Glenn, you can't say that. You can't say that." I think I deleted that out of an episode because I was like, "No, you can't." It's a guy with kids. You don't know what he was fighting for. If he needed the money, if he, whatever. Glenn was like, "Yeah." He died doing what he loved. But no, boxing is very dangerous, and I hope he recovers well. So talking about these Ukrainians now, this Oles, I can't even pronounce his name.
Vazdik, I know, I can do the last.
Vazdik, yeah. The light heavyweight champion. So now we've got Lomachenko, Alexander Usyk, and now this guy, the taking over. And this comes back down to what we spoke about a little bit before, about the amateur boxing program. The Ukrainians are one of the best amateur boxing teams in the world. They're amazing, like with the Russians. And so someone's obviously putting a little bit of money in them, bringing them over here, promoting them, which is great. Just kind of like, I think that's all come from Triple G, the Kazakhstani, no one heard of. But there's another 100 fighters.
Got that Bivol guy as well. He's light heavyweight. Yeah,
he's a Russian guy.
Every time I watch like the Olympics or the World Championships, I used to love watching either the Ukraine, Russia, English, obviously, and Cuba. I think like they're the best in the world, best ever, class.
And then talking about Cuba, Luis Ortiz, he fought last night as well. And did you see that fight?
Yeah.
So he threw like 3 or 4 or 5 jabs, boom, left hand, put him down. The guy went down heavy. Luis Ortiz thought it was over, ran, jumped on the ropes, celebrated, turned around, and the fucker was up. You know that?
He was a tough fuck.
Yeah, that there must really do your head in.
Dishearten you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, because I remember when I've put people down before, I've hurt someone, or the referee's giving them a count, I'm like, stay down, please, just stay down, stay down. Don't get up, I want this fight to end. But there's nothing worse if you think the fight's over, yes, I can relax. Gets up, another 4 more rounds to go.
He ended up stopping him in the 10th. The ref stopped it, Yeah. That guy was taking some damage. I mean, that guy was tough. Respect to that guy, but I mean, Ortiz is great. I mean, he deserves to be in that conversation. I think he's top 4 with these guys.
Yeah. The thing about Ortiz is like he's not that marketable outside of boxing.
No, he's not.
You know, and that's what we want. We need to see more of the 24/7s in boxing, like the all access. The behind the scenes stuff, and I think that's what UFC's really good at, promoting the fighters. The promoters need to learn how to promote, and we need to know about the kids' names, what they're doing outside of boxing. So we want to watch them, because I think as humans we want to know that stuff rather than just another fighter coming in there. We want to know what they've went through to get to where they are. You know, makes sense.
Yeah. There's always a story behind everyone, isn't there?
Everyone's got a great story. So looking at the rankings now. We've got Anthony Joshua 1, Wilder 2, Tyson Fury's moved up to number 3, Povetkin 4, Jarrell Miller, Dylan White, Luis Ortiz 7, Pulev 8, I can't pronounce that name, Adam
Konaki, maybe?
Oh, yeah. That's the one who's just beat Charles Martin, right? I think. Joseph Parker 10, Derek Chisora. There's some great fights there in this division.
There was another British heavyweight that knocked the...
Just talk about Joe Joyce, Olympic silver medalist.
That was Fury's sparring partner as well.
Yeah. And he used to spar with Joshua as well for the Olympics. So this guy, he's 33-year-old. And
wow.
He was in a car crash and everything.
He was what?
He was in like a serious car crash and everything when he was younger.
Oh, really? I never knew nothing about that.
When he was in the amateurs. Yeah.
So you see how much they're speeding him up, like for his career. He's 33-year-old. That's crazy. I've never even heard of him before the Olympics. He's the same age as me. So they're speeding his career up. He's had 7 fights now, won 7. His last fight for Joe Hanks, who Joe Hanks is a good fighter, a good solid fighter. He was and he stopped him in the first round. I think Joe Hanks won his first 20 fights. And then he lost a couple, then he won a couple, then he fought Joe Joyce and he put him out in 1 round. Such a big statement that for
Joe Joyce has that one punch power, just wipes you out.
Kind of like quirky looking, like he didn't. The guy doesn't look like an athlete.
He's fit though.
Yeah, he's definitely in shape, but he doesn't. You see him move. I mean, it's the first time I've seen him. But you see him move. I'm like, this.
Did you see what he did after the fight?
What did he do?
A backflip.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ.
How did he do that?
Yeah.
The size of him. What is he, 6'7" or something?
When I was watching the Olympics, I think it got gold. Did he do gold or something? What was it gold?
Silver.
Silver, yeah. And he won that. He did a backflip there as well.
That's amazing.
I was like, this is so
mad. Any more big fights coming up? We've got Errol Spence versus Mickey Garcia. That's the next big one, right?
Yeah.
Anything else? Not what pops out.
There's Lomachenko. Lomachenko's coming.
Oh, we've got Callum. We've got Canelo versus from England. Rocky Phelan. Yeah.
Kell Brook's fighting again soon.
Kell Brook. So I mean, I think it's going well. Well, that's it. We'll wrap it up. Thank you for listening. So this is the first time Big Jack's been on the podcast. Big Jack is an Englishman, now living in America. He's from Sunderland, and he's working at Boxing Burn, starting to lead classes and stuff now. So, former boxer. He had about 20 fights, won 1 or 2. Come from the same background as me, same boxing coaches. His dad was a big inspiration, boxing coach for him. So it's good to have you on, Jack. Jack, where can people follow you?
Instagram.
What's your account?
Jack_B&B.
Go on, son.
Facebook. Facebook.
Kev?
MySpace.
Kevin, Kevan, so Kevin with an A _ Watson on Instagram.
Yeah.
There is the Adrian Broner Pacquiao fight coming up as well.
Oh yes, big fight.
Yeah.
I fancy Broner for that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight. I'm
Bruno,
excited.
yeah. I think Bruno as well, me.
Good fight. We'll talk about that soon. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review on iTunes if you're listening on there. If the review is not 5-star, don't leave it. Until next time, we'll see you later.